Hello, welcome to RC Video Reviews. Today we're going to have a really cool video. We're going to show you the crash-proof setup on the OMP M4. Fred and I have spent quite a bit of time working on the configuration and getting the OMP M4 setup working with the Spirit FBL. Notice we've got the little Geolink module there on the back. That GPS provides some return to home and position hold functionality for us. And we're also going to show you the hard deck capability on the Spirit FBL. Okay, so Fred's going to be doing the flying, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on. So he's got the OMP M4. We're going to be in idle up 2, which is 2400 RPM head speed. And the first thing we'll do is we'll do a position hold test. So Fred's going to go ahead and fire it up and take off, and we'll show you what position hold looks like.
There goes nothing.
There goes nothing. Okay, the idea behind position hold is that if you're flying and you get a little discombobulated a little bit, you get a little flustered, something goes wrong, and you just need the helicopter to hold its spot, that's what position hold does.
There it is, just click the knob.
Yep, so there it is. So Fred, do a position hold while you're moving. So kick position hold off, and then do some flying around a little bit, and then have a panic. Oops, I'm panicked. There's position hold. See that robotic action? And it'll kind of correct itself and hold its spot.
Now position hold, I still have collective.
Yes, you do. You have collective, and you can slide, and you've got a yaw. But if you're not manipulating the control, remember it's coaxial mode.
There's yaw. Okay, now here's full back elevator.
So back, yeah, we want to show you that because this kind of goes into angle mode.
We got more authority than we had earlier. We did adjust it.
We did make that adjustment. That's right. We gave sticks a higher priority. We gave them a priority of 16. So you're moving around better.
I couldn't get no right movement.
Yeah. That's one thing I've noticed.
We got a little far away.
It seems a little stubborn sometimes, allowing some kind of movement. Do position hold again, Fred, and just do it in front of us a little bit and slide around and see what happens.
That's position hold. I'm gonna give it full right cyclic. That's full right cyclic.
Okay, yeah, and that's right.
Center stick. Still wanting to go. All right, there, just caught it. All right.
Caught it.
Full left stick.
And this is like the coaxial mode. Yeah.
At center stick, it still keep wanting to go. Okay, I just had to shut it off. It seemed like it wanted to keep going. Earlier, it went a little bit and then stopped.
Wonder if that's because we gave it that higher stick priority.
There we go. We're in position hold again. We'll give it full forward.
So one thing I'd say about position hold is this is meant to be some form of rescue. I don't really like it as a flight mode because of what Fred's going through right now. It seems a little not deterministic in terms of when it stops. So once it starts sliding, it seems to like to continue sliding. We have noticed that before on a couple of other tests. But you can see when he puts it in position hold, it does actually lock up pretty strong.
Actually, that's center stick. Now it's wanting to drift left again.
Yeah. Yeah, we've noticed that a couple of times.
Back, and a little bit back, if you notice, too. So.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so we want to try the hard deck next?
All right, so well, hold on though. The position hold, the bottom line is it does actually freeze up the helicopter, but it seems like as we move the sticks, it likes to continue moving. So we're not sure about that one yet. We'll continue looking into the configuration to see if there's an answer, and I will check with Spirit as well. But go ahead and do the hard deck, Fred. Make sure position hold is off.
We're off.
Position hold is off, and then go ahead and set your altitude for your hard deck.
Let's see where we want it. About here?
Right there, sure. Okay. All right, hard deck's enabled, and then it climbs. Lifted. Yep, and now he can fly around.
Oh, we just caught it.
And if he hits that hard deck, it bounces off there like a rock hitting the water. See that? Yeah.
Now let's do the hard deck at a slow rate first.
There it is. There it is. There's the bounce.
Now let's come back at a higher forward speed and
Hey, Fred, maybe go out a little farther so I can get a little bit more of the vertical kind of indicator because you're so close over top that I can't really pick up the vertical.
There we go.
Okay, so there we go. We're going to do a hard deck test going forward. There it is. Look at how it pitches up and it slows it down.
It slows it right down.
Bounces off that deck. Yep. All right, Fred, do it again inverted. Do an inverted hard deck test.
It just did it. It didn't do it very violently. Huh.
But it did catch it though, right?
It caught it, but it wasn't as violent as the last time. Let's come back here. Well, that
There it
time,
was.
yeah.
Yeah, there it was.
It depends on your momentum, I guess.
Yeah, it does depend on your momentum. The more aggressively you're approaching that hard deck, the more aggressively it rescues. That's true.
I will do it gentle. There you go.
There
see?
it is.
Now
Yeah.
let's do it a little more aggressively.
Yep, there it is. Very cool. All right, that's our hard deck test. Now let's do a return to launch, Fred. So he's out there, return to launch. He just hits a switch.
I'm going to bring the tail back to us.
And it's going to fly back at a pre-configured altitude. I have mine set at 8 meters, which is about 25 feet. And it hovers right where I set it on the map. Now, it's not exactly where I set it on the map, but it is really pretty close. It's
Also,
only about,
I'll note I have no collective or cyclic. Only thing I have
yaw.
is yaw authority right now.
All right, fly off somewhere else, Fred. Go out to the middle of the field a little bit. Take a return to launch
the hard
off.
deck just got enabled again.
Yeah.
Did that just do an up or two?
No. Did you turn it off? Is the hard deck off?
No.
Turn it off.
All right, we're
All right. All right, so he's flown out over the field a little bit again. He's flying around, gets a little disoriented. Oh crap, let's hit return to launch.
Return to launch.
So there's return to launch. And he can control the yaw, so if he wants to bring the tail around, he can do that.
Yeah, that's all you got control of with this mode is the yaw.
Flying overhead, and it should go back to that same spot. Look at that. That's pretty cool. And it should come down. It should be about 25 feet. I think it's a little higher than that, but it's close. But it gets us in the neighborhood, and that's what we really want. All right, Fred, thanks for doing the demo, man.
Pretty nice.
That's the crash-proof setup. If he put that hard deck on, he can pretty much go out there and fly with impunity, and that hard deck's going to save him. By the way, the hard deck is activated. The altitude of the hard deck is determined when you turn the hard deck on. That's how I have this one set up. So when you turn the hard deck on, that's it. Very nice. Cool, crash-proof helicopter right there. Spirit, fly barless with the Geolink module. And by the way, you can do hard deck without the Geolink. But the Geolink gets you the extra stuff like position hold, which isn't working exactly the way I'd like to see it. And it gets you that return to launch.
Is the accuracy the same without it?
That I don't know because I haven't tested without
Yeah.
it. Let's put it on the bench and wrap this video up. All right, Fred, let's break it down. We flew position hold, return to launch, and the hard deck. So tell us about what you liked and didn't like for each mode.
My favorite mode happened to have been the hard deck, which I think is probably about one of the most important tools you could have as far as learning 3D or just general beginners learning helicopter. Like you said, it's crash proof. It works. We did it at a slow descent, a fast descent, a fast forward, fast inverted. It just works.
For clarity's sake, you don't need to have the GPS for the hard deck or the altitude limit. You can do that. It's got a built-in barometer. Now, we haven't done any cross testing, so I don't know how accurate it is without the GPS. All I can tell you is what I've done with the GPS, and it seems to be pretty freaking accurate with the GPS.
Yeah,
Right.
the return to home, once we got that figured out, that seems to be working really good. That is a very good mode also. Let's say you get too far away on you.
Yeah.
You don't know what the orientation of the helicopter is.
Yep.
You don't know if it's going away from you, coming toward you. I actually had one time my helicopter coming at me inverted, and I thought it was going away upright. So that's when I was beginning. But for beginners, that is just awesome.
Yeah. So
And
that'll
then
save you, man. It'll save your helicopter. If you have a problem, you can hit that button and it comes back. What I would say about this part is if you get into the Spirit FBL with the Geolink module, pay attention to the return to home modes. I got hung up on that because I didn't read closely enough in the manual. I think what I did is use mode 1, which allows you to set your return to home point on a map. There are other modes that allow you to replace the return to home location, decide when the return to home location is enabled by when the aircraft is powered on. The bottom line is make sure you pay attention to those modes. Mine is set up right now for mode 1, which means my return to home point is set via a map in the Spirit Fly Barless setup software. Okay, so return to launch, I'd say that worked really well, and you can configure the altitude. Seemed a little high today for some reason, but you can configure the altitude, and the return to launch worked pretty well every time we tried it once we figured out the differences in the modes.
That's a pretty good mode, using the map to set your GPS if you're flying at the same field. Yeah, if you're one that belongs to multiple clubs and flies in different locations, then you might want to choose something else.
Yeah, the power on mode.
Yeah, that would help a lot better.
All right.
And then you got the position mode we tried out, position hold. That was great. There was one thing I didn't like about that is where it has the coaxial mode. Once you put it in position hold, that just doesn't feel right. It's that's the flight controller taking over, pretty much controlling most of what it's doing.
Yeah, it's kind of like an angle mode if you're used to beta flight or INAV.
Yeah.
And then what I didn't like about that was it seems like when we were in position hold, there were a couple of times we flew it where we'd slide left or right, forward, back, and it would slide okay. And then when Fred would let go of the stick, it would stop. But then on the flight that we actually filmed, of course, Fred would start sliding left and he would stop the slide, but the helicopter would keep sliding left. So I'm not sure if that's a bug in the software. What I would say really quickly about it is that when you activate position hold, it does do a good job of locking it up, meaning it freezes in space. So that's a pretty good way to use it to get the helicopter just to stop so you can take a breath. But Fred, what else did you see?
Now on position hold, you still have your collective works too.
Yeah.
And the one thing I noticed was when I would give my sticks movements, well, it was adjustable. We adjusted it so it's more sensitive. But when you move your stick all the way to the right, it goes very slow. You can adjust it so it moves a little bit quicker. But the thing that I found out was when I was, it happened on the last flight that we just recorded. When I gave a full right cyclic, it started going, but when I returned the stick to center, it continued another 3-4 feet before. It was almost like a delayed
It's almost like it had to get
response.
another lock or something, right?
Yeah, so, and I mean, it worked, but that delay, when I let go of the stick, I wanted to stop, and it kept going. That kind of scared me a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a thing. Like I said, this is all new to me, so.
Yeah. So bottom line, position hold works, but it's not really, I wouldn't recommend it as like a flight mode, to be honest with you. I wouldn't recommend it that way. If you want to use an angle mode, that's fine. Go ahead and set it up that way. But for position hold, I would say just let it be position hold. And then once you get yourself readjusted and calmed down, then go ahead and take control and fly the helicopter.
In my opinion, your position hold would be a great feature if your helicopter is close to you. Within visual range, you can tell your orientation. Let's say you, for a split second, lose orientation, okay? Mm-hmm. Flip your position hold on. It's going to hold the helicopter there. You can move your yaw around and get your position back, and then take it off and go from there. The return from home, let's say your helicopter got too far away where you can't tell the orientation because you can't actually see it. That's a perfect scenario for the return to home when you lose orientation. As far as losing orientation, I would use the position hold if you're close enough to visually see what's going on. You just had a lapse of a second, a moment, you lost it. And return to home is great if it gets just too far away on you for some reason and you absolutely are like, whoa, I can't even see it, it's a speck. Hit the return to home and it brings it within eyesight and you're good to go again.
Yep. And in any event, the hard deck or the altitude limit, that worked really well in every case that we threw at it. So whether we're going fast or slow, that's a pretty good solution. I like that a whole lot. That's the one that's going to save you some real money while you're learning to fly 3D.
And the hard deck is actually, I like the hard deck setting better than just, well, we haven't tried the rescue on this one yet, on the Spirit, but like as you noticed on your first heli experience with the Protus 380, when you first got in the air, remember, it got out of control on you, and I said, hit the rescue, and you're like, I am, but it continued to go forward. When you have whatever momentum you have at the time, when you hit that rescue.
The hard deck.
I'm talking about the Icon.
Oh.
When the Icon, if you're going forward very fast and you hit the rescue, it's going to level the helicopter out, and if you have climb set, it's going to climb, but it will continue to move forward at a pretty good rate. On this helicopter, when it hits the hard deck and you are moving at a considerable rate forward, it banks the helicopter and slows it down for you. And it doesn't completely stop it, but it slows it down considerably, which is a good feature, I think, because when you're hitting, the hard deck, you might be out of control. So, you want it to slow down and kind of, get your position back better.
Yeah.
Which is great. And it seems to be speed related. If you notice, when I was hit the hard deck at a slower rate, it's kind of just gently.
No, that's a thing.
And then a hard, fast rate, jammed it,
Yeah, the more aggressively you approach, the more aggressive it is in its reaction to save it. So
I like that. Yeah, I like that feature.
all right, thanks for flying, Fred. Now that I've got this pretty much tested to about the extent that I can take it, I will post my Spirit configuration and my Edge TX configuration in my Discord in the helicopter channel. I'm not going to post it anywhere else. I'm not going to put it on RC groups, so don't ask. If you want it, get on my Discord. You can get it in the helicopter channel. If you guys like this kind of content, make sure you smash that thumbs up button, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know when new videos hit the channel. That's all I've got for today. Take it easy.
Later, folks.
And go fly something.